end.
Jelly tart?
Just talk about
My name is Danika Harrod. I will be moderating this panel. I am the head of community development at Wonderstorm, the studio behind Dragon Prince. I make the tweets. I work with Netflix on a lot of stuff, and yeah, that's me. I'm the funny guy. Next to me is the voice of Rayla, our Moonshadow elf assassin, one of them, Paula Burrows.
That's true.
How do you feel?
I feel nervous. Help me.
You need help? You're a freaking elf assassin, right?
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Next to Paula, we have our executive producer, Giancarlo Volpe. All the way on the end, very small in the distance, is our co-creator, Justin Richmond. So we're very excited to be here. I didn't plan anything for this panel, so I wanted to do some fun stuff with them because they don't see anything that's posted online really. They don't use Tumblr. They see some stuff that's hashtag. Giancarlo's on Tumblr. I forgot. But no one else uses Tumblr.
That's true.
So okay, I wanted to start this panel off by asking about a few things and seeing what your thoughts are. Okay. So who knows the characters? Like who's been following us? Who's like seen the character reveals? Who's like familiar with the characters? Oh my gosh, not a lot of people. We might have to save this for the end. We should save this maybe then.
We can do it again.
We can do it at the end.
Okay. We can all tap.
Well, no, I want to do one thing first.
Wait.
Have you seen these?
No.
You look beautiful. You're beautiful.
What's next week? What happened there?
He's the king. Don't worry about that. So we want to, I guess the room is full, but maybe we'll talk for a little bit just to make sure that no stragglers miss what's coming next. What has been your guys' thoughts about the reaction to the show announcement and all the character reveals that we've been doing?
It's crazy. I mean, it's complete. I mean, in my wildest dreams, I was not expecting this reaction, right? It's been from day one, people going nuts. So thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you everyone for coming to this panel for a show that hasn't even out yet. Like it's really cool to fill a room for a show that you don't even know you like yet.
What do you mean? They know they like it. They like it.
No, it's overwhelming. Support has been absolutely incredible, and that's all thanks to you guys. So thank you so much.
What about you, Paul?
It's amazing to see all the fan art, but also like the theories about the different characters. I love seeing all the theories about Soren's personality. They're my favorite.
We'll get into that after the show so we can get to know him. So why don't you guys talk a little bit about what this show is and what Wonderstorm is? For people who don't know, because there's a lot of people in here who don't know us.
So Wonderstorm is a company founded by myself, Aaron Ehasz, and Justin Richmond 3 years ago to do shows and games at the same time. So we're making a game in the Dragon Prince world, and we're making the show, and definitely so partner. It's awesome. And so the first thing we're doing is Dragon Prince, and pretty quickly we got the amazing Giancarlo Volpe to join us and show Ryan and do all the art, and way worth it. Like, boarded the first 3 episodes basically by himself. Just an amazing person that I love working with. And yeah, we're trying to grow to 20 people now, and we're making the Dragon Prince, and it's crazy. This is like a dream come true to have you guys all come look at a thing that was just a napkin like 3 seconds ago.
He's a very good-looking napkin, though.
Most attractive. What else can I say? I'm trying to think.
I don't know. I mean,
So yeah, we're a small company of artists and designers and game designers, and part of our vision is that the whole crew that's making the show and the game all work together. So like our magic system is greatly influenced by our CTO, for example. So we have meetings where the writing staff is sitting there pitching stuff, and there'll be game designers and engineers sitting in and doing their 2 cents and all that kind of stuff. So it's cool. And then we have to cast it and
Yay! Is this, so Paula, have you done animated stuff before?
No, this is my first animated series. It was actually my first anime audition. Yeah. I did it under my duvet blanket.
So people haven't heard, do people hear Rayla's voice in the first trailer? I don't remember. I don't think so. So no one's heard Rayla's voice.
Yeah.
So pay attention. And Paula, can just say she sells seashells by the seashore.
As Paula? Or as
No, as you. Just as you.
She sells seashells by the seashore.
Okay, and then pay attention to what we're going to show next. And listen to Rayla. And just see the work that Paula has put into it. All right, well, what time is it? It's 6:09, so that means it's on. Don't worry about this. Don't worry about this setup here. All right, can we get lights?
People know what we're doing. We're showing you guys.
All the way. No, don't tell. All the way.
Just kidding.
Okay, we can turn the lights on now.
2 weeks away.
Yeah, 2 weeks. So what do you guys think? You think it was cool? Yay. So we're gonna open up the floor for, I guess, a lengthy Q&A. Just to preface the Q&A, Aaron, obviously we don't have our full creative team here, so we can't probably won't be able to answer every single question that we get asked, but yeah, if you have questions, you want to raise your hand and I'll call on people, because we don't have a mic here, so, no? Oh, okay, go ahead.
What led to the conceptualization of Callum? Like, what inspired his personality?
Okay, so what inspired Callum's personality?
Callum, Aaron and I were really interested really early on with a non-standard family structure. So he's a step prince, right? So he's not the full prince. What does that mean to be adopted? What does it mean to have step parents? But on top of that, like, what is it like to be someone who feels like they don't belong? They're not exactly. They don't know what their place is in the world. Sort of where he came from. So it's him trying to figure out what he's good at, because it seems like all the things that he's supposed to be good at, he's terrible at. And so a lot of the show is his journey to finding what is his destiny. What's he going to become?
Fun fact.
Here we go.
Callum is played by Jack DeSena. If you didn't recognize his voice, he played Sokka in Avatar: Last Airbender. Jack is an old friend of ours. Aaron and I both worked on Avatar, and so when we talked about Callum's personality, it was like, he's kind of like Sokka, but like not as meathead, like a smart Sokka.
Like making the show and the game at the same time, how's that process been?
The question was how is it making the show and the game at the same time? It's been awesome. So it's been really hard. But a couple things, like we started the company with that idea, and so we've tried to be very true to it all the way through. So on the show side, we've had enormous support from Netflix and Bardell, and on the game side, there's a company called MWM, National Media, that's like an awesome visionary company, and they've sort of helped us out starting it up. But it's great. I mean, having a lot of our writers or game designers or former game designers, our artists all watch the show and play games, and so it's a great place where sort of people can work together on that stuff, but it's also tricky.
I can also say too, one of the things that frustrates me from the animation industry is when you work on a TV show and then the game is created usually by a third-party company, and it never quite feels like the show, and sometimes the characters say things that like contradict what they would actually say in the show. And so one of the things that's exciting about Wonderstorm is that we're doing it all in the same room. So literally in the same room. So we are talking to the game designers, and the game designers are talking to the animation team, or the writers and myself, I guess.
So it was like a 6-month period where there was 9 people in literally a room that was smaller than this stage. So.
Yeah, so ideally there will be like spells from the show are in the game, and characters from the show are in the game.
Will the game have an independent storyline, or will it be like a retelling of the show?
I probably, so we'll not have an independent storyline, but it won't be a retelling of the show. But I can't say more yet. We're still playing. But thank you.
Great, yes.
I just want to say that I really appreciate Taylor's dreadlocks. As a mixed person, especially since it's like the white kid that's the stepchild, it's usually the opposite, where like the black kid is adopted, so I love that.
Thank you. We think his design is awesome too. Right? The guy who plays him is Rodriguez, and he kind of had that hair a little different than
Vic was telling us, like, hey man, my dad has hair just like King Harold. He looks just like him, so I was like, that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm about to post our trailer's going up on socials in 1 minute. We want to make sure you guys saw it before it did, so I'm like, okay, any other ones? Yes, yes.
So, obviously the return of the Dragon Prince is what drives the adventures of the 3 kids, but what drives the relationship between Callum, Rayla, and Ezran?
I don't know if I want to tell you that. It's, at a very, very high level, it's what happens if you're thrown into a situation where you have to work with someone who you've been trained to hate your whole life, right? And what does that mean? And what does it mean to be a kid who's been told their whole life, one thing, and that may or may not turn out to be true? And how does their relationship change based on, once you actually interact and know somebody, how does your relationship change with them? Does it change your perception of the world and that kind of stuff? But it's a very broad spectrum change, but I don't want to get any more deep than that, just because I want you to watch the show.
Yes.
So one thing that's very noted about the show is its slower frame rate to make it look a little bit more TV. So what influenced you to make that decision, and what was your initial response? What was your response to the initial mixed perception for that?
GC.
So one of the decisions to go with the style that we did is I've worked in 2D and in CG, and there's pros and cons on both sides, especially with a TV budget. So the ideal with Dragon Prince was that we would take the best of both worlds and get the super detailed models that you can get with a CG show, but render it like it's 2D, so it sort of has that handcrafted look. The challenging thing is fooling you that it's hand drawn. So I know you've seen Paperman, the Disney short. To me, I thought that was done incredibly well, and so we were trying to match, what's the anime equivalent of that? One of the things that we noticed with anime is that animation is more staccato in anime, and what I mean by that is where a Disney cartoon might be animated on ones, which is every frame of film there's a new drawing that's called animating on ones, and in anime it can be every 2 frames, every 3, so they actually it allows them to draw fewer frames per second, and as a result, the movement's a little punchier. So we were emulating that by dropping frames from CG to make it look less CG. And I understand people's reaction that it looks choppy, especially in this world of video games and wanting super high frames per second. Sometimes that can be equated with why is my frames dropping out? But it was an intentional stylistic choice to try to make it seem more like anime.
We're super proud of it. We think that once people actually get to watch the show, they're going to immediately realize that it was a good choice. So thank you. But yeah, it was absolutely intentional, and we absolutely love it.
And I will also say that if you want to see a little bit more just on the animation, one of the animators who worked on the show, Jess, at NY2K on Twitter, she did a really great thread on it. She goes into how we're able to make you know, each frame incredibly detailed, and yeah, it's great.
Deeper breakdown.
Yeah, yes.
Are the different types of magic like locked to the different races? Like, can a human learn an elf's type of magic?
That's a very good question. I'm not going to answer it. But, all will be revealed. But yes, there's a pretty deep magic system, and I think it's pretty well thought through. And that will come up. You'll see that in the show, for sure. Yeah.
Yes.
What inspired the creation of the Dragon Prince?
That's a good question. I don't know. You know, Aaron and I were talking, and this summer when we started the company, and we were both sort of really hungry for a fantasy epic. Like, I'm a huge fantasy geek, and so is he. And we were talking about how there wasn't a lot of like really great stories that were coming out around that time. I don't know why. It was like everything was sci-fi because like Star Wars was coming out and all this stuff. So we just got really interested in that, and then Aaron pitched me a very similar premise to this, and then we started talking about it. We're like, oh, dragons are super cool, and then just, you know, dragons are super cool, and it sort of
Dragon big.
Yeah, dragon big, exactly.
All the way in the back. Yes, you.
What was it like, from the creative standpoint, making a hard magic system? Like, what were your inspirations and really things that you wanted to go into?
I think you said hard magic system, is that correct? Yeah, okay.
What was it like creating a hard magic system for the show?
It was interesting. So we were trying to from the very beginning to build something that we could use in the game, so it had to have some kind of logic to it, and we wanted it to feel real and have consequence and meaning. And so it was really interesting, actually. Some of the sort of key insights, a couple of early things that came straight out of our CTO, Dan Vidgal, came in as like, this sounds crazy, what if we did this? You know, and sort of pitched a couple things, and that just spiraled into like a million different brainstorms. And so I think we tried to be as internally consistent as we possibly could. And then GC came in and was like, well, yeah, guys, but we should totally draw it and paint it and do it like this, obviously. And we're like, yeah, that sounds awesome. And I think you added a huge stamp of sort of pizzazz, is what I would say, to the system.
I think also one of the things that I found with magic is it can become a get out of jail free card. Like, oh no, we're in a terrible situation. Too bad I have this spell that completely reverses it. And it's like a wallet. But, so I think that what I like about the show is that in that every sort of spell type is limited. So you know that like, oh, I can do this and this, and that actually makes the story more interesting because it forces the characters to try a little harder to win the day.
Yeah, I really liked, I love like Name of the Wind and some of the harder magic fantasy systems out there, and I definitely took a lot of inspiration from that when I was thinking about it.
Yes.
With like a lot of Netflix shows, but is this going to be all released at once, or is it going to be a weekly episodic thing?
All of it at once.
Everything.
September 14th, please stream the whole thing.
Please watch it, please. Yes.
Okay, so there are debates on what is considered anime or not. We're not going to get into that. What to you is anime, and what makes this show fall into that category?
I mean, I'm camp like I don't know why I take this stance, but I feel like anime should be created in Japan. I'm not sure, like the textbook definition should be that, but I think that there's clearly a lot of shows that are inspired by anime, and Avatar: The Last Airbender was one of them that I worked on, and so I feel like we're more in that camp. Like I would say that we're anime inspired because what I won't gush about anime all night. There's countless things about anime that I love, like the types of stories that they try to tell, the way that the characters are designed. It's just this excites me, yes, and it makes me want to put that in the shows that I work on.
Would you say with the sparkling wine to the champagne that I
Sure.
Yes.
A lot of fantasy usually has humans where they're not necessarily the nicest not a lot of fantasy tends to have humans portrayed as they're the worst and they got kicked out. Typically, it's supposed to be bad or hard to present to the audience. So how did you guys approach that? When in the process did you decide to paint the humans as, yeah, they're absolutely the screw-ups of the world?
I was really early. I mean, one of the things that, like one of the things we got really interested in early on was, there's definitely more than one point of view on it, and the bad guys, right, the most interesting bad guys don't think that they're bad guys, right? They have a point of view and a meaningful stance, and it should make sense, even if it's a little crazy, right? And it should be, they should never look at a great bad guy and go like, well, that guy's completely insane, obviously nobody would follow him. So that's where we approached it from. And I think that our villains have real depth to them, and as you watch the show, I think you'll start to see that point of view. But yeah, humans, you'll see. There's some logic behind why the humans may not be the worst, but maybe they are.
Yeah, I don't think it's super spoilery to say that as you watch more episodes, you go, or maybe the humans aren't that. Do they kind of have a point?
Yeah.
And I think that's really fun too, to see you kind of pivot between.
That was like one of the first questions you asked us when we talked to you about the show. You're like, so wait, are these terrible? Maybe, no, yeah.
All the way in the back.
When you were developing this, did you create the world and then the characters to tell the story? Or did you create the characters first and then the world around them?
It's both, but I mean, character-driven stories we think are the best ones. So the characters came in very, very early, but they came very much hand in hand. It was like, we're gonna have this type of character, how would they respond to this type of situation in this kind of world? So you can't separate them. So for me, I don't know, my process is like, it's kind of both at the same time, but character wins. If you're in a fight, character wins.
That's a good way to put it.
Yes.
Okay, so for the animation style of the show, did you find chancing any inspiration from
Ruby, the question was, do we take inspiration from Ruby?
I wouldn't say that like we were trying to copy Ruby or be inspired by Ruby, but we were aware that like, oh, it feels like our show and Ruby are both trying the same approach to do the same look. You know, I think that there's choices that we make that are slightly different than Ruby and vice versa, but you know, we recognize that we're part of this genre now of sort of CG made anime inspired shows.
Yeah, we're trying to crack the same problem.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't want to spoil too much, but could you give us maybe 3 out of context words?
Is that a Paula one?
Paula, yeah, Paula.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Out of context words, yeah. Moonberry juice?
Yes, that's good.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay. Everyone knows jelly time.
It's serious.
Oh, curious.
Curious.
And okay, let's think of what's another one that oh gosh.
Oh. Aspera.
Aspera is good one. Such a bad one.
Okay. Oh, no.
Okay, next question. Yes.
Hi, so like, can you just tell us more about the process behind casting characters, like creating voices? So like, do you have like a set kind of like profile you want your characters' voices to be like? Or do you just kind of let them go? You need someone to let them add their own voices on it?
I found my side. I found my audition sides, and it said maybe Scottish. Yeah, why don't you talk about a little bit about your background? So I'm from Scotland originally, but I was raised in Canada. I live in Vancouver now, but my parents are both Scottish, and I spent a lot of time in Scotland. And I would say that the accent that I do is the accent of my mom.
How is it? So when you, I have a question for you.
I know, can you raise your hand? Okay, yes, so you're ready.
Thank you. When you got the sides, right, how did you approach doing the read? Like when you sent it in, how did you think about it? Like what the character was from based on what you got?
Okay, well, this is gonna sound awful, but the truth is I originally got it, and I was like, well, I'm not gonna get this. This is too big of a part, and I didn't submit anything. And then you guys were still looking 2 weeks later, and I got it again. And then I'm like, how did I approach it? I called my mom, and we talked about the character, and we talked about if there was any elves in like Scottish.
So you're like, Mom, if you were like an elf assassin, how would you say this line?
She was like, so you're a ninja? A Scottish ninja? So we talked about Enid Blyton books a bit. I don't know if anyone knows Enid Blyton, but lots of elves in that. But basically it was just playing with the words that were on the paper. Oh gosh, what was the scene? I know, I was like, what was, I don't
I don't even remember what the set was. It doesn't matter. We loved you as soon as you read for it.
There's a Scottish writer on the team.
Yeah.
So he backed
Yeah,
me.
Ian Henry, so when we started the idea of whether or not there should be a Scottish accent, we were like, well, we have somebody who can call BS on this, right? Who can say like whether this is a legitimate accent or not. I think that's the only reason we wanted.
And like, I think
And
the
he
highest,
failed, and that's why I called him
the highest compliment he could give is like, she sounds like someone I went to school with.
Yeah. Oh, that's perfect.
And his town is really close to the town I was born in.
Yeah.
So it's impressive.
Yeah.
I want to learn. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Hi, my first question is, how many episodes are in the season? And my second question is, how big is Dragon?
There
Super
are.
big.
So it is like someone wrote about it somewhere. So like I know there's 9 episodes. So I saw some stuff going around on Twitter, and I'm like, I want to respond so bad. They're getting it so wrong, but I couldn't. I was like, I'm gonna respond, and everyone was like, don't respond. I was like, I want to respond.
Yeah, if you all watch it and tell everybody you know to watch it, maybe we'll get more. So please.
Yeah, and that first week. Yeah. More questions? Yes.
So next to like the moon shadows and like the other races when you saw them, there were like really cool characters that came on. So I'm gonna assume one of them was the Sunfire Elves. Are they gonna be in the show more, or?
We totally can't answer that question.
Also, yeah, so we can't answer that. But also, she had a second question, and I was like, how big is
How big is Dragon?
Oh, how big is Dragon? Oh, Dragon big, yeah. Dragon big.
He's enormous.
So big.
Thunder's enormous. Thunder is,
Yeah.
you know, he is huge. I mean, I don't even.
He was like a fifth of that giant, of the giant lava mountain.
Yeah, he's
He was
enormous.
like so big.
Yeah, he's huge.
Okay, on the
So
edge.
big is the answer.
on the edge of the black hat. Oh wait, I think you answered one already. Yes, yeah. So you.
The score of this episode was gorgeous. So I just wanted to know what sort of influences you wanted and sort of direction you gave the music to the composer to create a score for this world.
Thank you for saying that. The composer for the show is Freddie Weekman, who I had worked with before on Green Lantern, the animated series. And he also does a lot of like, if you ever watch like Death of Superman or all those kind of like Warner Brothers, DC direct-to-video movies, he scores a lot of those. And this type of show is in his wheelhouse. Like there's like, if you take for example, Adventure Time or something where it kind of has that kind of cute, like MIDI sort of music to it. Freddie doesn't do that. Freddie does like big, epic, sweeping score. And so when we started the show, I was like, can we use Freddie? He's perfect for this.
And then he made
And it's orchestral, so it's.
Yeah, there's a live the opening theme is live orchestra.
Yeah.
Like,
I have those videos, and I plan to share a lot of those once I turn them into AMVs.
Yeah. By the way, I wasn't speaking disparagingly of Adventure Time. I think that show's really fun. Yeah. just apples and oranges.
Yeah.
Yes.
From concept to completion of 9 episodes, how long did that take you guys? And if all goes well, how long would it take for you?
I can't answer the second part, but from concept to the first finished like rendered episode was like 2 years, but that's because we we were not working on it the whole time, right? Like we had to get funded, somebody had to buy it, right? We had to find a crew, we had to find a studio that could do it, which is Parnell, and they're amazing up north. They're in Vancouver. So we had to find partners that could do it, right? So we had to go through a whole process. Like we pitched it to a bunch of networks, Netflix bought it, we had to find a studio to do it, right? All that stuff. So it would be way faster. Typically, it takes about 10 months to do a given episode. Right?
Yeah, it might be 10 to 12.
10 to 12, yeah, depending on if you count writing and recording.
Just a question about the game. Do you guys have a genre in mind? Or
I can't tell you. I do, yes. We actually have a playable thing, and it's awesome, but I can't tell you.
It is. It's fun.
Is there like a set release date?
No. We will reveal all soon.
Can I tell a quick funny story about the game? So there's a playable demo, as Justin mentioned, and Jack DeSena, who plays Callum, was testing it with like this little Rayla character, and this is what I saw. Like his phone was covering his face. He went, oh no, I killed Rayla.
GC. You just give away some stuff about the game.
I mean,
it's Rayla.
Is that not obvious?
So, and next question.
It's a show. It's a game about the show.
Yes. Yes.
For the modeling side, like what was the most challenging aspect of it, and same with like rigging? Did you guys have like any weird controllers that you had to put in, or any like weird attributes in like your character rigs?
Oh, for the show?
Yeah.
We have crazy stuff on this.
Yeah.
Do you mean for the show or for the game?
For the show.
Well, the answer is both of them, yes, have crazy things. I mean, the biggest one I think is the rendering of they do a very special thing with the way they render their shadow passes and stuff that require all kinds of crazy controls of the character and stuff like that.
Yeah, I feel like the characters are rigged, forgive me this getting extra animation tech talk, but they're rigged very fully like, any CG show would be. On a TV budget, I guess, which I think it hopefully shows when you sort of see the performances. Like, you don't want an animator to be limited. Like, I can't even do this expression because I can't push their face that far. So they're all capable of being really stretched and all that good stuff.
Yes. So what inspired the look of the new show?
That's a good question. I mean, so we threw open, we went out to a bunch of people early on and had them all, hired them all to draw concepts. And one of the ones we fell in love with was C.T. Chrysler, who actually works for Wonderstorm now. But he did a bunch of initial concepts. He did Rayla, he did Soren, Claudia, I can't remember, a bunch of the characters. And he just drew a bunch of really cool stuff, and then we took that and we took it to Parnell, and they had concept artists there, and it's Andy Kuhn and Edison Young and a couple other people take cracks at Hannah and Dorothy, a bunch of those cracks at it, and it's sort of like the best of all of those things. But there was no I can't think of any specific. We just basically sent out the script and we're like, how did you guys think about this?
It was Aaron's idea in the beginning that elves had horns and 3 fingers.
Yes.
So that was one of the things when people were drawing fan art very early, which was super exciting for us. But they were drawing Rayla with 4 fingers and a thumb, but she actually has 3 fingers and a thumb, like all elves in our show do. So I don't know if that's interesting, but but now you know.
Yeah. More. Yes.
Is there a name?
Is there a name of the game?
It will be the Dragon Prince something, but I don't know. No, there's not a specific.
Not yet. Not official.
Not official. We have ideas.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so one thing we noticed in this is that among the elves, they have different ethnicities, different features to them, and we can assume that they have different abilities to them, such as the Shadow Elves becoming purple at night. Was this an attempt to try and make the elves in this show very unique compared to other fantasy genres?
It wasn't to make it unique to other fans. I mean, to make it unique because we wanted to make something cool and different, not as a deliberate attempt to make it different than other fantasy, I guess. Like, we wanted to do something that hadn't been seen before, I guess, but I guess we weren't going out of our way to be deliberately weird or unique. We just wanted to do something that we thought was cool and represented each of them well. And something that hopefully was different, but that was still familiar enough that people could get behind it. I don't know, it's kind of a wishy-washy answer, I guess, but we weren't deliberately going out of our way to be like, make it the weirdest thing ever.
I think, there's definitely a distinction between the elves, and that it's not only the way they look, but also the magic they use. Yeah. If we were to show others in our show.
She's on a roll today. All right. Yes.
For someone in school for animation, what are the challenges and advantages and disadvantages of creating a show animation in Canada versus like out of an American studio?
Advantages and disadvantages.
Yeah.
You get to work with him, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of talent-wise and stuff, there's no difference. Like, people are awesome everywhere. So there's not, we've had great animators come from the US and from Canada. There's a huge amount of work in, I don't know about Toronto, but in Vancouver there's a huge amount of work right now. There's tons of studios and stuff. It's really what do you want to work on? I think the types of things that end up in LA, there's a broader spectrum of projects just because there's more stuff going on. What's that? Yeah, there's a huge difference between, there's like provincial tax credits and all kinds of very complicated financial things that I don't understand. That's why we got Justin and Steven to handle all that. But yeah, there is, depending on where you're from and who you're working with, there are definitely distinctive advantages to working in Canada versus the United States.
It's fun for me too because for years I've always admired like graduates from Sheridan College and Vancouver art school or animation film school, and following their accounts on social media and being sort of bummed that I could never work with them because I'm American, and so this was fun that we got to actually team up with all the talent in Canada.
Like, I went to VFS, so back in the day, that's where I came out.
Yes.
Hi. I'm actually more of a fantasy book fan, and I was wondering why you guys chose this title, given that there's a lot of fantasy series with the same name.
Why did we choose the Dragon Prince when there's a book?
Oh, the No Way Wrong book?
Yes.
Series. First of all, we didn't know about it. But second of all, we pitched a million different names, and this was the one that we thought most encapsulated what the show was, and we thought it was memorable and simple. It was not deliberate, no.
Any more? Yeah.
Dragons have a lot of different aspects to them in different mythologies. Some they're like super intelligent and can transform into different shapes, and some are just big dumb beasts. Where did you draw the inspiration for the dragons?
I'm totally not going to tell you the answer to that.
I will. Let's go like this.
You have something about the dragons in the show directly, but where did you pick and choose? How did you build it?
I can't answer it because it'll blow some of the cool stuff in the show. But in general, dragons are awesome and they're sort of wide open, which was really cool. And I think we did something a little unique with it. But I don't want to tell you where we got the inspiration from.
What time is it? Oh shoot, it's 7.
Oh, we're over. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
guys. So hold on, wait, don't leave yet because we have some stuff.
Someone needs to go to the back.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the back right now. Don't leave.
We're gonna go to the back, and we have posters for everybody who showed up. I feel bad for all the people who are leaving, and I'm like, oh, that's just how it is. It can be like that sometimes. So these are like 18 by 24. These are really big, nice posters. Our in-office artists painted them. Tim Kaminsky and CC Chrysler worked on them together. Here comes Justin running back up. He's got stuff. Is it important? What's going on? He has to say something.
I just wanted to just say out loud, basically, there's a couple groups that really made this happen for us. One is Netflix, and they've been an amazing partner, and we love working with them. Parnell Animation did all of the work on the show, and they're awesome, and we have a great team up there that we can't say enough nice things about. The third is what I mentioned before, MWM. Like, we could not have put this show together without them.
And also thank you so much for coming to the panel.
Yeah.
And for being here.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for watching the Convention Junkies coverage of Fan Expo Canada 2018. Join the conversation below with a comment, and don't forget to like and subscribe to see more. If you would like to help us with future projects, please visit our Patreon page.